is when I came back from the beach, which warranted. But I was hoping to tan this afternoon, Gary.
Well, you're not going to win. And for Sephora's and two, you're not going to be tanning either unless it's artificial. And I think that doctors go against that. So I'm not a doctor. We'll have to talk to Dr. Cook over there. But right now, things are quiet at the moment, but we still have a weather impact alert. This is the cloudiest day of the next few. And I'll tell you what, next week it's going to be hot and humid and dry, a lot of pool time then. This is not one of those days. It's wet. We've had a lot of rain outside. We have a flood watch that's in place through this evening. That has extended. It was through 7 a.m. They've extended it from the National Weather Service simply because at any given moment, we see the possibility for heavy rain throughout the region. Here's what it looks like right now. We also have a boundary that it was set south of 70 and really south of 44. The better threat for severe weather is really south of our area. I would say Farmington and south. However, this could clip a few spots. And I think this is marginally severe weather like yesterday where we had 40 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts. And I point out where this is a tornado risk simply because if you have a random brief isolated tornado, not out of the question areas to the south. That is, and even into Mount Vernon, something to think about. I just want to point that out in case it's something Lance talks to you about later on. Very brief, but still not out of the question today. Now, from a standpoint of soaking rain, I want to point out where we've seen our radar estimated rainfall. Look at this wide area here as we look at the short term. Now, to me, what stands out is the fact that we have had no widespread 3-4 inch total. They've been pockets, and that's good because that means the flooding threat is lower. But when I point out a couple of things, and we'll show you exactly what I mean by that, because this was the storm that really popped up in the afternoon and evening. About 3:30, 4 o'clock, you can see those clouds build. About 3 inches of radar estimated precipitation. Same thing as you go from Washington to Augusta on 100, 3.3, right? So you got about 3 inches of very, very brief heavy rainfall. But then you look at, let's just say, we'll use south of Cottleville, for example, right before the river, Weldon Spring in the National Weather Service office. Look at the difference, right? And there were spots where, around right around Ellisville, you got about an inch of rain. So there was a huge difference, Baldwin, Ellisville. So we got all these different spots. That's what we're going to see later on today, right? So we have that opportunity where, if it rains 2 inches again, flash flooding threats up higher. Whereas, you got spots from Ellisville, you got spots from Weldon Spring, you're going to be able to take a little bit more. So that's what we want to pay attention to. But that's why the flood watch is in place. Now, right now, things are relatively quiet. Now, I know we have a few storms that are starting to hold into Lincoln County. You see those lightning strikes actively right there. You also look at Rolla. You look at south here. To me, this was what stands out. The more dry time we have, the more everything can start to funnel into the tributaries, and we're okay. But when it consistently rains heavily, obviously that's when it rises and we had the flash flooding, right? So that's what we're dealing with right now. It is quiet. I want to take you to areas to the south of Steelville. This is Viburnum. These are areas people are camping for the weekend. I think it's going to be dry for the second half of the weekend, not the first half. There's not going to be any clear water. It's all muddy water this weekend. But you also look at some of these showers and storms that are starting to work their way into Truxton, Troy, north of Warrenton, Eolia, Pike County, northern Lincoln County up 61. Those are the spots that we're looking at for. Temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s outside. Big picture, warm, humid air, that continues. That trend continues. And I can't rule out showers like this the rest of the morning, 9, 10 o'clock. We're going to see these little waves. Now, does that mean it's going to rain every single second in the morning? Absolutely not. You'll run into a few of these thunderstorms. I'm not too concerned about that. We'll pause it there for now. I know it fast forward a little bit on me, but I want to get you to 1 or 2 o'clock. I think there is a lot of dry time today, but just expect that somewhere in the region, there'll be scattered showers. No widespread rain. I'm not too concerned about any of this stuff. The second half of the day is not what concerns me, but gives me a little bit of an elevated thing. That's why we have the weather impact alert, because we see the possibility 5, 6, 7 o'clock for showers and storms south of 44. Those are the ones that could dump heavy rain locally, primarily to the south. You'll notice where a lot of this is, south of Rolla. And this line could produce marginally severe weather and maybe produce that brief tornado as it pushes to the south. So not out of the question. To me, it's heavier rain that is the biggest factor for us. Now, severe weather impacts today. High wind, not so much. It's 40 to 60 mile an hour. Quarter-sized hail or less. Not too concerned about hail. And if we had a tornado, it would be isolated, brief, and weak. To me, the big threat is flooding. That's the number one thing. We will see flash flooding in a few areas. Don't be surprised for a couple of flash flood warnings at any point throughout the day. Now, on average, 1 to 2 more inches of rain are expected. Half an inch or less in other spots. But like I said, this is very hit and miss. You get under one of those big thunderstorms, all of a sudden you get 2, 3 inches of rain. You don't get into one of those, you get a half an inch or less, right? So that's not out of the question. If you're heading to the lakes today, you're dealing with rain. There's no doubt about it. Tomorrow is a transitional period as it starts to warm back up, and then we'll see a lot of dry time in some of the lakes, especially off to the southwest. I think that won't run you inside. The water temps are warming up, and then by Sunday, if you're sticking around for the second half, I will tell you what, the water's getting warmer. You're seeing temps that work their way into the mid-90s. We are starting to heat up, and that is the big story for me over the next 10 days. You're going outside, you're going to see a lot of this. Scattered storms tomorrow, it's not a huge issue. It may run you inside briefly. But I will tell you what, the next few days, even as we head into the 4th of July weekend, you're talking about temps in the mid to upper 90s on a pretty consistent basis and not much of a chance for rain. So while this rain may be a nuisance right now, and some of us it's too much, I will tell you what, this stuff will evaporate very, very fast, and we're in a pretty good dry stretch. So we're going to need it, but we'll track any problems we have over the course of the next few hours throughout the rest of the